Hey, everybody, it's CJ Graham. That's right, Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, Part 6. And you're listening to Breaking the Fourth Wall.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another Breaking the Fourth Wall Weekly. You know who the hell I am. You know who the hell these people are. I don't think we need to introduce it anymore, but just in case you don't know, the man who loves to get divorced by having 19-year-olds lay across him, Mr. Don Smith.
What's happening? I never told that story before. That's didn't happen. It's totally untrue.
I've got a didn't happen story to my kids always lay down on me. I'll tell you later. But,
right, because it didn't happen.
It didn't happen, but I'll tell you what they say I had. But
right.
Let's get to our lady first, if you can call her a lady, because if you try calling her a lady and it offends her, she'll probably force choke you, Miss Wren.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Pleasure to be here again.
Is that your preferred thing? Do you like to be a lady, or is it mistress, or madame, or just Fifth Lord?
Master Lord preferred. Yeah.
Okay.
You have never asked me what my preferred title is.
Bearded?
Yes.
Okay. That's why I didn't ask.
I guess you didn't have to ask.
That's it. Well, when I think of bearded, I think of clams. And when I think of clams, I think of food. And when I think of food, I think of the food buffet, which makes me think of the news buffet. See how I segued?
That's quite impressive.
So we'll go ahead and get that out of the way there.
That's like 7 degrees of separation of bullshit, right?
Worked my way to it. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters is it is time for the news buffet. And that is, we are the news that matters. And I don't even have anything pulled up yet, but we're going to go ahead and find something. And we're going to start off in my home state of Ohio. Nice. Because this sounds like something I'd do if I was a Christian. An Ohio man is marking the Christian tradition of Lent by giving up solid foods for 46 days and getting the majority of his sustenance from beer. Dell Hall of Cincinnati said his Lent diet includes only beer, water, black coffee, and herbal tea. And as of his Friday morning weigh-in, day 3 of his diet, he was down 5.8 pounds.
That's impressive.
Diet. That's nice. That's nice. I only have 3 to 5 beers a day, Hall told WXIX TV. It's not like I'm drinking constantly. If you eat your standard diet, it gets boring. You don't eat the same thing every day, so I'm definitely not going to drink the same thing You got to mix it up.
That's it.
You got to mix it up. That's what it is. It's
I
variety.
imagine day 46 will be Zima.
Yeah. There's no need to go. That's like eating, if you're comparing it to a regular diet, that's like tofu. No, there's no need for that.
I don't know. Is it me, or is it weird that he adds all these things like coffee, tea, water, beer, but the tea is herbal? It's got to be herbal.
Herbal. Got to be herbal.
Calamine.
Yeah, well, my guess is he only drinks craft beer too. That's, if you're having herbal tea, you have to specify herbal tea. Your diet is craft beer. Craft
beer is not beer. Craft beer is what makes Coors Light considered beer. That's garbage. I'm sorry. I know there's IPA drinkers and all that out there, and people.
I'm not a fan of IPA.
And all the people who like fucking home brews and shit like that. It's garbage. Okay, go get yourself a fucking Budweiser.
Why are you telling them to drink water instead of beer, though? That's my question.
Well, I figured if they're
Budweiser is like sweet beer flavored water. I
get that. You're talking
I drink vodka. I pee stronger than Budweiser.
Okay, I get it. I understand. I'm German descent. I drink fucking what they call beer in the United States for fucking breakfast. But I'm meaning the fact of the matter is, if you're gonna put the money out on IPAs and shit like that, you might as well drink Budweiser, because I'm assuming that's all you can afford.
Probably Milwaukee's best.
Oh, hey, leave the beast alone. I have a lot of fond high school memories. Well, lack of memories from Beast.
Milwaukee's best and Bush Light. That's the
and Natty
and Natty Light, Nasty Light. Yeah, that's
and Nat Dog 2020. We can't forget MD 2020.
we're going all out now.
No, but I'm impressed with this. Getting back to the story, because I remember a couple years ago. I don't know if you remember or not. There was a guy who went on a year-long diet of nothing but McDonald's hamburgers.
Yes, Spurlock.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong on this, but I think he was trying to prove that the fast food wasn't as terrible as people made it out to be, or something.
Yeah, he couldn't even finish. He was going on a month. It was just a month, and he couldn't even finish.
Yeah, because
his doctor told him his liver was starting to fail. Yeah, that was it's called Super Size Me. He did a documentary called Super Size.
Right. Yeah, there was a documentary about it. I remember the news report. I didn't even remember the documentary.
Yeah. It's an interesting documentary, but yeah, he didn't even make it 30 days, and his doctors advised him to stop, or he may have actually made it, but they just went against his doctor's advice and actually did it. But yeah, I think it took him a while to recover.
Well, it's like with this guy here, the biggest thing that amazes me on it is on a beer, and I know other things as well, but on a beer diet, he actually managed to lose weight. Because don't people usually with like the yeast and shit that's in beer pack on pounds if you drink a lot, I guess.
Well, yeah, if you drink a lot, but he's having like 4 to 5 a day. That's not that much. For a beer drinker, that's not that much.
That just reminds me of the old ladies, or not the old ladies, the fat ladies that drive up to Wendy's and they want like the fucking quadruple burgers with the extra large fry and a Diet Coke. Gotta watch the figure.
An Ontario man broke a Guinness World Record, but not any teeth, when he used his jaws to bite open 24 full beverage cans in 1 minute. Chucky Mady, 32, Chucky, a mixed martial arts fighter from Windsor, who I am not going to make fun of.
When you said Windsor, it made sense on why he wasn't worried about his teeth to begin with.
Well, that's true. I'll go ahead and make fun of him. He was recorded on video using his powerful jaws to rip open the tops of the cans, causing soda to spray all over him and the surrounding areas. I've been doing it for years. Just something proud to tell people. I started when I was 16, he told the Windsor Star, just messing around, party tricks. Mady said it was several years before he decided to take on the world record. One day I was watching Guinness World Records Gone Wild on TV. There was a guy, Ryan Stock, who was doing it. His record was 11 cans in 1 minute, and I was like, I can do that.
Shall we call this guy Snaggletooth?
Yeah.
I could break him open even. Exit stage left.
Right. I would think that would be the worse your teeth were, that would be an advantage. You could cut right through that shit.
Exactly. That's what I would
Unless
think.
they're like meth teeth. I mean, then they'll cut, but they'll just break off and be stuck in the can. So
lead me out of this conversation.
I mean, no offense.
I look like I was born in Britain. I understand.
There you go. This is me. Yeah, this does seem like it's Canadian, but it seems like more of a British thing to do that right there. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, we'll go with the mashed potato kid. Why not? Because it's in Florida. So
Florida man.
Yeah, Florida boy. He's Florida man's son. Florida boy's attempt to hide in a trash can almost turned tragic when it was picked up by a garbage truck and nearly sent into the choppers with the blades turned on.
Nice.
I was thinking this might be the end for me, said 7-year-old alias Quezada. The NBC station in Tampa said, I almost thought I was going to be a mashed potato.
It was 7, and his first phrase was, I almost thought it was the end of
this. I was thinking this might be the end for me.
Mom and Dad,
I'm
stop
thinking
letting this kid watch late night TV.
he watches like a lot of superhero movies. Elias, I don't know. Alias's grandmother. I like Alias because that way it's not. His grandmother said it all happened so fast. He got out of the truck. I thought for sure he was still in there. He got out so fast. I wasn't even able to push him back down into the can.
You notice Grandma was the one worried about him. Grandpa was sitting on the porch like, let him go in there. They'll teach him.
Exactly. Because that's what grandparents at that age did.
That's what dads are supposed to do. Like, you remember back in the day when we were kids and we tried to stick a penny in a power outlet. Mom would be like, no, you'll hurt yourself. Dad would be like, let him do it. He'll learn not to do that again.
Oh, he was saved. It says a sharp-eyed driver, named Waldo Fidel.
Waldo.
Spotted the boy in the truck surveillance camera and rushed to turn the choppers off. Waldo. Man. Good thing he found Waldo just in time. That's
he didn't find Waldo. Waldo found him.
Right. We went from an all beer diet to a guy mashing cans with his teeth to a kid almost getting caught in some choppers. There's a theme going on.
There's a theme. Yeah.
Cans, chopping, mashing.
Right. Exactly.
Next on Kitchen Nightmares.
All right. Where to now? Where to now after that? Okay.
Wherever we're going, this will definitely describe it.
Exactly.
We're screwed.
Yeah, we're definitely. Well, this lady was almost screwed. An Alaska woman had the scare of a lifetime when using an outhouse in the backcountry, and she was attacked by a bear from below. I got out there and sat down the toilet, and immediately something bit my butt right as I sat down. Shannon Stevens told the Associated Press on Thursday. I jumped up and I screamed when it happened. You
were justifying 5-year-old me after seeing Jaws and not wanting to take a bath anymore because I was afraid the shark would come up the drain.
Yep. So
you're justifying it right now.
You're not going to use an Alaskan outhouse ever again.
No, never. I will drive straight through the state to Canada, where the only thing that'll come out of that toilet is maple syrup.
Right. And it'll even be apologizing for it. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Stevens, her brother Eric, and his girlfriend had taken snowmobiles into the wilderness February 13th to stay at his yurt. Located about 20 miles northwest of Haines in southeast Alaska. Her brother heard the screaming and went out to the outhouse about 150 meters away from the yurt. There he found Shannon tending to her wound. They at first thought she'd been bitten by a squirrel or a mink or something small. That's an awfully tiny bear. If you look at it,
I thought it was a squirrel.
Yeah, if you thought it was a squirrel.
Although, to be fair, the reason I'm being quiet and not making a joke, the reason I'm being quiet and not making many jokes is I'm literally trying to figure out how the fuck the bear got into the outhouse. Into the septic area of the outhouse, I should say.
Well, because it's on a mountain, so you leave it open so you don't have to shovel it out.
Okay, that's kind of ingenious, but
I'm only half joking.
maybe put
when I was a kid, my grandmother in Tennessee lived in the fucking mountains in Tennessee, and she did not have running water, did not have electric, and she had an outhouse that, no kidding or no shit, was built on the side of a hill so that you didn't have to shovel it out as often.
That's I'm kind of torn here. I part of me says that's genius, but the other part is if a bear can get into it, I think I'd rather shovel.
Right. I think what you need is a smaller flush area. That way, you need a small opening on the front and a small opening on the bottom, so the spring rains can just wash everything away.
However, at 44 years old, I think I finally understand the phrase "shit rolls downhill."
There you go. That's why you always build your outhouse on a hill, preferably not downwind of another outhouse. If you live on a mountain, you want to be the one with their outhouse on the top.
let this be a lesson to you, ladies and gentlemen, with outhouses on hills and shit. Knock first, it might be occupied.
Right. That's always a good idea. Yeah. Take with you only the bare necessities.
Oh,
Yeah,
he went there. He went there.
You knew it. You knew it was gonna happen.
Pulled it out of the oldest Jungle Book.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's go to something a little more tasteful. A teen in the UK who compulsively ate her own hair ended up developing a massive hairball in her stomach that tore a hole through her stomach wall, according to a new report. Ugh. The oval-shaped hairball was 19 inches long and completely filled her stomach, according to the report, published February 9th in the journal BMJ Case Reports, Bureau Medical Journal, I'm assuming. Not as opposed to like TMJ. The 17-year-old initially went to the hospital after she fainted twice, bruising her face and scalp during the falls. Doctors wanted to rule out head injury, but during an exam, they
hair. Why would you do that?
What is it? Trichotillomania is what that is. It's strong urge to pull out one's hair. And the related condition, trichophagia, is the compulsive to eat hair.
Okay, I get the I don't agree with it, but I get the compulsion of pulling your hair.
Well, I don't think it matters if you agree with it because it's a thing that actually happens.
I know, but I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
It's not a life choice, I don't think.
My ex-wife was a person who compulsively like pulled the dry skin from her lips. Instead of using chapstick or whatever, she would fucking pick at it. Used to drive me nuts, but I understand the compulsion for that. But who fucking grabs her hair, pulls it out, and goes, you know what? I'm going to save that for later.
Well, she didn't save it for later. She apparently ate it right on the spot.
That's what I'm saying. Like you and me, we go to the movies, we get popcorn and fucking, or we go to the dollar store and we pick up some candies and stuff like that, and we sneak it in. She's sneaking in hairballs and like, yeah, they're good movies, man. You know, eating her own fucking hair. What the fuck?
Hey,
gross.
To each their own. It saves
gross.
money.
Please tell me she isn't married.
Well, she's 17, so I doubt it.
In this day and age, you never know.
It depends on where in the UK. She could be. I don't know. She could be part of the royal family, and that's the whole mental condition to begin with. I don't know.
Yeah, where the family tree doesn't fork.
Right.
Wow, that just blows my mind. Who would eat their own? I get annoyed when I get a fucking stray hair in my mustache come near my mouth.
Yeah, I am the same way. That bugs the hell out of me too. I mean, not when yours do. I don't care, but you know.
Yeah, I know you love it when mine get in your mouth.
All right, I've been trying to get to this story for a while, and I haven't gotten far enough down on the list. So, because I've been curious to know what all these idiots went to jail for. 4 public officials of a small town in Iowa have been charged with multiple felonies and misdemeanors after a multi-year investigation uncovered charges, including embezzlement and using a taser on a civilian, authorities said. Nice. On Thursday, Armstrong Mayor Greg BUUM, B-U-U-M, so I guess that's BUUM.
Boom.
Or BUUM. BUUM. We'll call him BUUM. Police Chief Greg Merrill and City Clerk Tracy Lang and former City Clerk Connie Thackeray were charged with felony and misdemeanor offenses in trial information containing 21 joint counts. BUUM, Thackeray and Lang were arrested Friday, and Merrill was taken into custody Saturday in Minnesota and is awaiting extradition to Iowa. They fled to Minnesota because that's, the extradition from Minnesota. They'll never get you there. Once you make it to the border of Minnesota, you're safe.
I gotta be. I don't know the extradition things from Minnesota, but when I was in Colorado, I knew some friends who knew the law system that Colorado will not extradite for a charge. Like if you did something in Colorado and you run to Kansas, for example, and you get arrested in Kansas, Colorado will not ask for you back.
Oh, well, I don't blame them there.
you know what I mean? But I mean,
keep them. They already fucked up over here.
I know there's some states that have different extraditing rules. So maybe Minnesota does have a no extradition
It could be, it could be, but it looks like they're awaiting extradition, so it's probably going to happen. The multi-year investigation uncovered wrongdoing that included misappropriation of city funds, the presentation of fraudulent public records, deploying a taser against a civilian in exchange for cash. Wait a minute.
So, in other words, they did exactly the same thing as every other American city in the United States,
Right.
run by a mayor, governor, district attorney. Where's the
Right, which
difference?
most of the misappropriation of funds, put fraudulent records, I get all that. Deploying a taser against a civilian in exchange for cash.
Pay your fucking taxes.
Well, I mean, that's where the question is. Did somebody pay them to tase another citizen?
It just sounds
Or
to me
did
like
a
it's happening
civilian come up and say, here's $5, hit me with that shit?
To me, it just sounds like Hazard County, and I'm waiting for Roscoe P. Coltrane and JD Hogg to appear. I love it. I love it. Because that's what it sounds like to me, dude.
Yeah, the hazards of Iowa.
But I mean, like, jokes aside, the only difference between that city and every other city in the United States is these assholes got caught.
Exactly. And they fled to Minnesota.
Start doing that to every other city. Watch how quick you'll find out it's not really that rare. Maybe
Exactly.
the tasers thing, but everything else, not so much.
Yeah, because I think that the whole the tasing thing is the one that I'm curious about, is why who paid who. That's what I want to know. But I guess they're not telling us that. It's information we're not privy to.
It depends on who it is that got tased. I mean, if it's Johnny Knoxville, he probably paid for it. You know, hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is Jackass.
If he was trying to shake that car loose in his ass.
Wasn't that the first thing Johnny did? Wasn't that the first thing Johnny did for Jackass? He took a taser.
Probably, yeah.
That was the first thing he ever did. Yeah,
makes sense to me.
Now we know where.
All right, we're going right back in the shitter. Animal rescuers in Oregon said an owl was removed from the bottom of a public toilet and safely released back into the wild after a bath. The Cascades Raptor Center. That sounds like a frightening place to be right there. The Cascades Raptor Center said volunteers responded to the Junction City Pond after a fisherman reported seeing an owl trapped inside the vault toilet. The center shared a video showing volunteers reaching into the toilet and pulling the bird to safety. Cascades Raptor Center Executive Director Luis Schimmel said owls sometimes end up trapped inside vault toilets. It's just a hazard of being an owl. Sometimes you just fly into the shitter. After flying in through unprotected vents. If you have a vault toilet, you want your vents protected. That's how bears get in there and bite your ass when you sit down.
Look, you can't be careless with your owls. If you're going to go out to these toilets, you've got to have protected vents.
Right.
They teach that in high school, don't they? Here's some protection for your vents. Now go use the potty.
Schimmel told KEZI TV, it looks like a very attractive cavity for cavity nesters.
Okay, I'm
owls
pretty
are cavity nesters, so don't leave your cavities open.
I'm on that note. I'm walking away a minute.
All right, go shake that owl out of your cavity. I can't talk now. Maybe I need another drink. I don't know. Anyway, the owl was cleaned and released back into the wild after being examined for injuries. So there we have it. I guess we have to kill some more time now while he's out screwing around. So we will talk about Buffalo Bill.
Oh, no.
The buyer of a Pennsylvania home that served as filming location for Buffalo Bill's house in the 1991 movie Silence of the Lambs is now being converted into a bed and breakfast. Chris Rowan, a cinephile who purchased the Periopolis house after it was listed for sale last year, said he is filling the house with memorabilia from the Silence of the Lambs and doing renovations to make some of the inside match the interior shots that were filmed on a soundstage. Rowan said the renovations include digging a basement to resemble the one seen in the film, as the actual house does not have a basement at all. We'll be a boutique accommodation, so we will be able to book Buffalo Bill's house for stay overnight.
I saw
Rowan
this.
He is hoping to have the house ready for guests within the next few months to take advantage of the 30th anniversary of the movie and the release of CBS News spinoff series Clarice.
I saw this, and the first thing that popped in my mind, in fact, I think I shared it on Facebook, was
You want to stay in the hole.
no. It puts the
You're a
lotion on
cavity nester is what
it puts the lotion on its skin, or else it doesn't get the continental breakfast.
So there you have it. Would anybody stay there? Would you stay in Buffalo
absolutely
Bill's house
would.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely I would. And you're right, I would want the fucking the room in the basement, the one where he was sitting there. Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. Yeah.
I knew you were going to be the one to go there.
I'm telling you, dude, if I bought this house, when you come up to the door and ring the doorbell, it would play fucking Goodbye Horses. Okay. I would work this thing up to the nines.
Well, I think he's planning on doing just that. I mean, including digging the basement, and he will probably, I'd say somebody needs to put him on a watch list. See, but they're making it a bed and breakfast, so it's not as bad. It's not like it's what is the
Psycho?
what the well, yeah. What's the Airbnb? If it was an Airbnb, you wouldn't want to fucking stay there because you're not coming back. If it's a legit bed and breakfast, you're good to go. But if it's an Airbnb that you book through an app, you don't want to stay at Buffalo Bill's house.
Where's William Shatner when I need him? Priceline.
Well, that right there is the news buffet. Thank you for taking that fantastic ride with us. I think we ended up in the shitter a couple times, and we found out that we are all apparently cavity nesters.
And you know, we found out that's truly where Yogi Bear went when his show canceled.
right into the shitter.
Right into the shitter. It all rolls downhill.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm still caught on that one. Got bit in the ass by a bear using an outhouse.
And then to think it was a squirrel.
And to think it was a squirrel, yeah. Like, how big are the squirrels in that area?
Fucking big, apparently. The teeth are that far apart. Must have been a squirrel.
What about you, Colin? You got squirrels that big?
What it was is the guy, it was his sister, so he didn't want to look at her ass and compare the bite marks.
That's true, yeah.
That's what it was. It's like, it's probably a squirrel. Shut up. Quit your whining. It's a squirrel bit you on the ass. He didn't realize that Yogi's over there going, hey, boo boo.
Hey, you're fine. You're fine, sis, but who's Bob?
Right.
What about you, Colin? Do you got fucking grizzly-sized squirrels up there in Michigan?
Do we have Colin up there? Is the question.
I don't know. He's been quiet since he jumped into screen, so I didn't know if he was, you know, even there or not.
Yeah, he's given up. he's just here in spirit anymore. It's
He's
the
a
spirit
ghost.
of Colin has joined us.
Well, what happened to his buddy with the little Johnson? I thought he was supposed to fix the computer.
Yeah, we're both disappointed in your buddy's little Johnson now because
yes.
he has not fixed shit apparently.
No, I guess he didn't reach it.
Well, when your Johnson's not big enough, I guess it's just not going to reach where it needs to.
But you know what? I can't think of a better segue from Little Johnson to Don. You've got a second annual Golden Cock shit coming up on fucking Life Radio.
I do. I am so excited. I don't know if any of you are aware. Almost a year ago, I believe it was March 10th, was the first co-host on co-host competition for my coveted golden cock. Here it is right here. If you see that lovely little golden cock, that is the prize to compete for right there. Autumn Hatcher, the reigning champion, the what did I call her? The world cock holding champion.
Yeah.
She has it currently, and she is going for her. She is trying to take two. She's trying to take two at the same time. She actually wants two cocks. And that's
and if she wins it, and I've already gone on record saying this, but I will say it on air too, so that way she can hear it herself. If she wins the second coveted golden cock, I reserve the right to call her finger cuffs.
See, I thought you were going to challenge her.
I am going to challenge her.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's the thing, because her challenger right now is her same challenger from last year.
I am
Scotty
taking
Mays.
that cock away from her. No more cock for you.
Scotty Mays, it's been a year and he is still not recovered from the loss of a cock.
I don't think any man can recover from the loss of a cock.
That changes a man. That changes a man right there. And he is back with a vengeance because he wants the cock.
He needs the cock. He just needs it.
You gotta have it. You gotta have it. It's all there is to it.
Well, I'm officially throwing down the gauntlet now. As whoever wins this second annual Golden Cock, I am your next challenger, and nobody can handle a cock better than me.
That's the rumor I've heard. But I will say Autumn has done a fabulous job. She let me know that she takes it out often and polishes it.
Oh, she could buff it up for me all she wants.
If it gets a little dusty, she'll pull it out and blow it. You know, whatever happens, she makes sure that my cock is in prime condition. And Scotty Mays is coming for it. So
you know what?
It's going down.
He's been whipping it
going down this Wednesday. What is that? The 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be live on Facebook with the rematch between Autumn Hatcher and Scotty Mays.
You don't know how badly I want to be a color commentator for this competition. I really do. I just want to be there talking about it the whole entire time. Like, I know Scotty's ready for this. He's been whipping it up all year, ready to to snatch that cock away.
I told him today he's facing some stiff competition. I'm sure a lot of people are pulling for him.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, ends the segment of how many sexual innuendos can we put into one statement.
And that have all been put into the original show and will be right back in this one. So if you missed last year's competition between Autumn and Scotty, you won't want to miss this year's. That's all I'm going to say. Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right on, not right here, because we won't be here. It'll be on Facebook.
We might make it here. Fuck,
we might. I don't know.
I may rebroadcast it on Breaking the Fourth Wall just because it's for the.
You never know where the hell we're going to be.
You never know what a cock's going to be, but I heard Scotty's got it well in hand.
Well, I don't know. He's hoping. He's hoping. He's hoping he can snatch it away.
He's been taking his little blue vitamins.
Yes. He's a stand-up guy.
He promised me that he would not juice it up so much that it would slip through his fingers. That's all I know.
But yeah, be sure to tune in for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Our guest judges are going to be Christopher Rudder, who apparently isn't on this show anymore.
Starting to wonder. Even asked me earlier, we doing the show tonight? Yep. What time? This time?
Yeah. He was supposed to, we did some promo work for the upcoming Golden Cock Challenge this afternoon, and he screwed up the time zone. So he tried to come on at like 20 minutes after we signed off because we were at 1:00 Central Time and not Eastern. So he missed out on the promos this afternoon, but we got Scotty and Autumn in there doing some good old smack talk. Who's going to walk out with my cock? So if you haven't seen that, you go to Facebook, the Life Radio Shows page, facebook.com/the Life 1069. You can pull that up.
Well, before we recorded the show, Don did show me a picture of Amber, and I promise you, Amber,
Autumn.
Autumn. You see, that's how much I care. No,
you just want the cock. You don't care what the chick looks like.
That's it. I'm about the cock, but I will say this much: as much as I'm calling winners of this Wednesday, Amber, after seeing your picture, I promise you, Autumn. Fuck, I'm terrible.
You're stuck on Amber for some reason.
I guess it's a stripper name.
Yeah.
Autumn, I promise you, after seeing your picture, I am pulling for you.
He was pulling to your picture, honestly.
I really worked way too hard for that joke.
Well, yeah, you broke a sweat.
I really did.
Oh, wait, that's not sweat. Sorry.
I may have earned a golden cock just trying to get that joke out.
Or at least a little red one.
As long as it's not blue.
Oh.
All right. Well, we lost Colin because he's still having PC issues. Like I said, Little Johnson did not fix it.
Yeah.
Did not get in deep enough to fix the PC.
Yeah, we're upset with the Little Johnson.
We're upset with the Little Johnson. So we will go into After Hours, but this time I'm not taking the reins of After Hours. This time it's something Wren came up with. So Wren, take it away.
Cricket singing. Oh no, you're gonna make me do this, aren't you?
Yes, I am. You wanted to do it. You present it.
Oh, great. All right. So, right. Cancel culture. I have been fighting with people online about this new interesting social phenomenon that has come out of the deepest, darkest, most bizarrest, otherworldly, alternate dimension reality. It's mind-blowing how quickly I think it's taken a hold of everything. It seems to have seeped into all different kinds of groups and subcultures. And of course, most renowned is what happened with The Mandalorian and how a certain actress is no longer employed with Disney.
Gina Carrero or Carino. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cara Dune for
Yeah.
the Star Wars fans. Cara Dune.
Yep. What was she? A drop trooper? I think she was.
Republic Ranger.
Yep. Shock trooper. That's what she was. Shock trooper. Yeah. And for those who don't know, she tweeted a number of comments questioning how the COVID mask thing has been addressed so far. She is not a firm believer in masks, and she has a lot of questions regarding why people are being pushed to wear masks. For one thing, only N95s are the only kind of mask that can actually stop viruses. All these other masks don't stop viruses. And very few people actually wear the N95s, not to mention it could get in your hair and your clothing, through your eyes, virtually anywhere, everywhere. In order to keep a virus from getting on you, you have to literally wear like a spacesuit.
Well, I was about to say something that I've known about masks, whether it's 95 or otherwise. And it's going to be a very crass comparison. So I do apologize for anybody that I may offend with this. But if you put on a mask and fart and you can smell it, it's not stopping the virus. And that's the God's honest truth. If it cannot stop the minute particles that create the smell of a fart, it's not stopping the minute particles that make up the bacteria or virus embryo that would give you the illness. And yeah, I'm right there with her. But I mean, it was more than just the mask thing. I mean, she had posted something about like she made fun of the mental illness of identity politics, of whether you refer to yourself as he, she, him, her, they, them. And she decided one day that her preferred pronouns would be bippity boppity boop. But the one that really got her canceled was when she compared a picture of a Jewish woman being chased down by Nazis in World War II. And the catchphrase was, it wasn't the Nazis that mainly beat up the Jews in the beginning of the Holocaust. It was the own neighbors who believed the propaganda and hate spread by the government for them to attack their own neighbors. And she compared it to the way it is today, where people politically are so divided from each other that you are encouraged, that's the word I was looking for, encouraged to rat out your neighbors because they're doing something that you don't think is right. And Disney had an issue with it. and decided to try to ruin this girl's career.
Yep. And people were cheering it. They were like, yeah, ruin her career, fire her, kick her out of every social network there is.
Yeah, but you got to remember, you're talking about a group of people that applauded when Rush Limbaugh died. Now, again, I don't care if you agree with Rush Limbaugh or you hated his fucking guts. A man died. We don't throw parties for people who died. You know what I mean? That's like the ultimate fucking, pissing your face moment. And that's the world we live in now, where it's okay to be as crass and disrespectful as you want to be because you don't agree with somebody.
Yeah. What really concerns me about the whole thing, and it concerns me very deeply, is that it's not so much people hating John Doe or Jane Doe because they said something they don't like. Fine. No one's ever going to completely agree with everyone. There's always going to be someone famous that you're not going to like. That's fine. That's life. But it's this herd mentality of if you don't agree with whatever it is the herd is all about, whether it's about masks or whether it's about political affiliation, could be about anything, you are just simply attacked like a mob. And this is now become the social norm, to the point where if you dare even question the social norms and what's going on and want to get more information, you get attacked for it. People say, how dare you question these so-called experts? What makes you think you can even rival their intellectual might? And it's like, that's the whole point of modern society, though. It's not always believing everything that you hear. It's educating yourself and understanding about what's going on, be it viruses, your body, what's going on in politics, any of that kind of stuff. You have to educate yourself. And that is bad now. Educating yourself and having your own thoughts is bad. You're only allowed to go along with whatever popular opinion happens to be in vogue now. And that terrifies me.
Well, you're not wrong. And in a political standpoint, I miss the days of the Democrats who believed in the phrase, I may not agree with you, but I defend your right to say it. Right. And I'll tell you right now what's going on in today's culture.
I miss the Republicans.
I miss the Republicans
because that's both
no, that is
sides.
both sides. But Democrats were very famous for that. It's like, I may not agree with you, but I defend your right to say it. That used to be the main platform of Democrats.
Right.
They don't have that anymore now. And you're right. Republicans were the same way.
This is not a new phenomenon. This is not cancel culture. It's ingrained in human society. It always has been. This is not a new thing. It's just we've come up with a new name for it yet again. The 50s and 60s, it was McCarthyism and the Red Scare. It's the same fucking thing. You got blacklisted if somebody thought you might be something. It's the same difference. Just because somebody makes a statement on social media, they automatically get lumped in with the group of other people that they don't like, and they get shut down. Just like, to me, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as McCarthyism in the 50s and 60s, where people are getting now blacklisted, and they're doing it again because they don't fucking see the comparison. It's the whole thing with you. If you're ignorant of history, you repeat it.
Well, if you're ignorant of history nowadays, they just change it. But no, I agree with you.
They've always done that too.
Oh, absolutely. But I agree with you about the comparison to like McCarthyism and stuff like that. But I think it's more mainstream today. And the reason I believe it's that, and I'm not going to point.
I'm not pretty mainstream then.
I know, but I'm saying as far as like the way it's handled today, I don't necessarily think it's even political. I don't think it's left versus right. I don't think it's elitism versus conservatism. What I believe, what I really believe, I wholeheartedly believe, and I'm Generation X, and I will say this, it is our fault because we raised a bunch of pussy motherfuckers who don't know how to handle criticism, never had their asses handed to them for the fucking shit that comes out of their mouth. These people have lived in a bubble their whole entire life, and now they're in control of everything we think, say, and do. We let this happen. It's our fault. It really is. Babies having babies ruined it. And then the Dr. Spock books.
Yeah, not being able to backhand a little mouthy shit. That's what
Exactly.
You know.
This shit would not happen if this current generation was raised fearing the sound of a leather belt coming out of 7 belt loops on a pair of jeans. Okay, I'm telling you.
I think there's a lot that went into creating the situation that we're in now. I mean, thinking back when I was in high school, it was a long time ago. I'm Gen X too. But even then, they were beginning to sterilize the history books. They were beginning to omit certain things from history. And it's walking a tightrope, because when you're talking about the people who are ripping down statues, for example, any of the the white men of America, the founding fathers, all that kind of stuff. I mean, they were ripping down statues of abolitionists. They were just ripping down all of the statues of all the people back then, regardless of who they were and what they did. And I understand wanting to rip down a statue of someone who was truly terrible. I'm spacing on the guy's name, but he was the basically the inventor of gynecology. And he did surgery on African-American women without any kind of painkillers.
Okay.
They ripped his statue down. That I applauded when they ripped his statue down. But
something like that, I could definitely see why it should be removed. But when we're talking about ripping down statues, for example, I will point to General Lee. General Lee, yes, was a general for the Confederate Army. The Confederate Army, yes, owned slaves and believed in the old ways of the United States, where the North was trying to, we know the history of the Civil War. But you got to remember, General Lee was a general in the Army who was pardoned after the Civil War. And whether you agree with his viewpoints as far as the Confederacy is concerned, he was a military genius. There is no reason to take his statue down. He doesn't represent racism. He represents a hell of a military mind.
So does Hitler.
No, Hitler, there's a little difference between somebody fighting for what they believe in for their country and being pardoned by that country, and somebody who was a megalomaniac who took his social regime. By the way, I just want to throw that in for all you socialist bullshitters out there. Nazis were not conservatives. They were socialists. It's in the fucking name.
Calm down. This is an entertainment podcast. Not
I agree, but that is something that always crawls up my crawl is when people try to say, oh, Nazis were Republicans or conservatives. No, they weren't. They were nationalist socialists. Oh yeah. It's always pointed at that they were right wing. No, they weren't. They were socialists. It's in the name. Learn your like Wren was talking about. Learn your history. Because I remember when I was in high school, I don't think they ever really taught more than a semester of American history. We spent a whole lot of time on the world history. I know more about Africa's history than my own, and I always thought that was something that was wrong in the way people are taught. And I'm sure it's gotten worse since I
didn't study American history in high school.
I studied a semester of it. They spent the rest of the time. Philadelphia schools spent 3/4 of the school year talking about Africa and talking about places like Asia and some European areas, and would spend one semester, 3 months at best, on the United States a year. So it's no surprise to me that kids come out of there, unless they do their own research themselves, they come out of there ignorant of our own history.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with these statues is they have got to put the story of the person about the statue, like the so-called doctor I was talking about. When they ripped his statue down, they have to put something else up in his place. Talk about him. Talk about what he did. Talk about the time, the general attitudes of the times that he lived in and the cultural norms that allowed him to commit these atrocities. Did he create an entire new science studying female anatomy? Yes, he did. But there's also this horrific other side to it, just like the General Lee. And I think the whole story needs to be told because reality is complicated. History is complicated. And I see a lot of this cancel culture at its core. They're just taking little chunks and bits and pieces of things without understanding what these events actually entailed, like the story of the Jews getting murdered and beaten up by their own neighbors because of the media that was being thrown around about them. And people were saying how horrible it is to even bring that story up. You know, how dare you compare those events with turning people in for not wearing masks or not doing this or that. And the point being, it's the same kind of mental attitude where you're given media. You're the culture that you're in, you're given media. You don't know any better. You don't know what the truth is about these masks, how effective they are, the truth about viruses, what it actually takes to protect yourself from a virus. That is just being hushed, and people are not being encouraged to even educate themselves about it.
Well, a lot of her standpoint with using that terminology and phrasing, as far as comparing to the Nazi movement on the Jews in the beginning, part of her standpoint was where you remember this during the holidays, people were encouraged in certain states were encouraged to rat out their neighbors if they have a party on Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, where they have more than the allotted people. They were encouraged to do that, you know, and that's just wrong. You know, it's the same mentality. You are being told by the media and by the people that are in charge that it's your duty to rat out your neighbor. But at the same time, nobody said shit about the riots all summer and how many people gathered together and without masks or otherwise to do their quote unquote peaceful protests. That stuff was, for some reason, excluded from the virus containment and allowed and allotted. But God forbid you have great Grandpa Earl come over for dinner and he happens to be the 11th guest, then all of you belong in jail because your neighbor's supposed to rat you out. That's the hypocrisy of it.
Well, fuck Grandpa Earl. He should have shown up earlier. He wouldn't have been the last one there. I ain't going to jail because Grandpa Earl's fucking late. He can sit outside in the car. We'll bring him a plate. No, this whole ratting on your neighbor shit, again, that's been going on. Believe me, I have a neighbor that fucking had the city on my ass time and time again. But no, that's something that, again, you go back to being raised. I was raised to where you minded your own fucking business. That's a big
I was raised where you mind your own fucking business, but I was also raised that the neighborhood looked out for one another.
Right.
And in the fact of the matter, like if I'm out riding my bike, the neighborhood's watching me. So that way, if I get hurt, somebody else
really creepy.
If I'm causing trouble, they'll whoop my ass. You know what I mean? If somebody's attacking me, they'll get somebody there to protect me, which is what a neighborhood's supposed to do. But I don't think I ever had one neighbor that would turn around and be like, oh, the Stolle family's having a fucking party. Let's fucking call the cops. No, my neighborhood, they probably fucking join in and it would turn into a goddamn block party.
Yeah. I had a neighbor that would measure the height of my grass and call the city.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's why I would mow at 5 o'clock in the morning with a fucking with a fucking flashlight taped to my mower. It's like, all right, fucker. That's why he woke up one day with dog shit splattered on the side of his house, because he taught his dog to shit in my yard too. See, those are the kind of neighbors I used to have.
I don't think I've ever had neighbors that I ever battled with, except for maybe my first apartment. Because they would always call the cops about noise ordinance. And I don't understand it. What's wrong with a radio being turned up to 11 at 3 o'clock in the morning? Fuck. Yeah, it's the best time to do it. Everybody's home. No, but the truth,
I think my big thing about having, more than 10 people in your house is, what kind of fucking psycho wants that many people in their house?
Some people have big families.
I get more than me in my house. It gets on my nerves. It's like, you got to leave.
No, I mean, I saw a news report. I did see a news report during Thanksgiving. It wasn't in my state. I don't remember what state it was in. The cops came in and raided a house that had more than 6 people sitting down at Thanksgiving dinner and arrested everybody.
Oh yeah.
That's ridiculous. That is
ridiculous.
Gestapo fucking
Yeah.
mentality and maneuvers.
Hey,
And
you're gonna get. Don't make that comparison. You'll get.
I'm gonna make that comparison. What is he gonna do? Fire me? They gotta hire me.
They're gonna cancel all of us, and we're all gonna get canceled because you have to make a Gestapo.
All right, I will help you out here.
With you, Chris? I thought you knew better than that.
All right, I will defend everybody here. The views and opinions of Christopher Stolle are the views and opinions of Christopher Stolle only, and do not reflect the views and opinions of Breaking the Fourth Wall Entertainment, Don Smith, Wren, Kolin, or anybody else associated with Breaking the
Thank you. That's all I asked for. Now take it away with your Gestapo comparison.
There you go. But at the same time, that maneuver was absolutely a Nazi playbook move.
Absolutely. And whatever neighbor turned them in ought to be run out of town.
Absolutely. This is America. Look, you don't have to agree that it's right, but it's their right to do what they want to fucking do. If it doesn't directly affect you, shut the fuck up.
I love neighborhoods like the one I grew up in when I was a kid. We had a neighbor, their kid was a little asshole, and he went around with a BB gun. He shot people's windows out of their cars. Well, he shot my dad's window out of his car. So my dad filled several 40-ounce beer bottles, empty beer bottles with whatever he could find. And he chucked those through their fucking windows while they were sleeping.
Oh, it was beer.
The whole fucking neighborhood was in on it too, and not one person ratted him out.
Oh, and those 40 bottles were filled with beer, just recycled beer.
Right. He yeah.
It's been extra filtered.
Right. He drank the beer and it went through and did what he needed to do. Because that's a neighborhood right there. If you have an asshole in the neighborhood, the rest of the neighbors need to know it.
No, but as far as Cara Dune's concerned and her comparison to Nazi Germany back in the day and the way things are now is absolutely accurate. And the only reason she got canceled is because it hit too hard to the truth.
Right.
She wasn't downplaying the Holocaust or anything like that, nor was she saying that America is the new Nazi Germany. But she is saying there's some scary comparisons that people need to look at.
Oh yeah, when you make a comparison like that, and I think the more accurate it is, the more it's going to upset people.
Well, I think they don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe that they're following along that same kind of mentality, and they are.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, there's no getting around that. When you turn an entire culture against a group of people, legitimately, you know, and I'm not talking about you have some crazy kid in the neighborhood who's doing horrible things and the neighborhood has to manage that kid. That's not the cultural setup of the society. Like the cops are not going to, well, I guess the cops would if you call them on that particular kid, but it's a different situation from what we're in now. It goes deeper. It's not just, you know, it's, people really need to pay attention to history, the real history, and learn about what were the events that then led to the events that everyone knows about. You know, how did Hitler become to power? What happened in Germany that they allowed their leader to do the horrible things that they did? Why did people, their own family members, their friends, suddenly turn on each other? People that they knew for years, you know, what was going on in their heads to enable that? And people need to be aware of that. Otherwise, they're going to become the very thing.
Right.
Well, that to answer how Hitler came into power and the Nazi regime took control is a very simple thing. Germany lost World War I, and all the restrictions that the United Nations put on Germany put a hurting on Germany. And that allowed for a snake like fucking Adolf Hitler to rise to power.
Yeah.
God's honest truth.
He gave them an odd hope.
He gave him an odd hope. And I'm even fair enough to say
he gave him the hope to make Germany great again.
He did. But, you know, I'll even be fair to say that when Adolf Hitler first took power, when he was first rising up through the ranks of the German parliament and everything else, he really did believe he was doing what was best for the German people. Now,
Right.
Power and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And Hitler went from somebody who was actually trying to help the German people into a megalomaniac fucking serial killer who was out to genocide a whole group of people because it didn't fit his fantastical world of an Aryan race. And this is coming from somebody of German descent. I could say that. He was a fucking maniac. Nobody should ever emulate him. But the problem is, the reason I was giving that point that he was a good guy who turned bad is the exact same thing that we're seeing now. People who have good intention, they say hell is paved with good intentions. Okay. These people who are claiming they're doing this or doing that or canceling this or doxing that or changing this language or changing that language because of the betterment of mankind. Hitler thought he was benefiting Germany. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Just because you think it's better doesn't mean it is.
Absolutely.
And cancel culture is a dangerous and slippery slope. Now, I'm not just talking about like celebrities like Cara Dune. I'm not talking about podcasters like us. You know, we may not be that big ripple in the ocean, but the first pebble of an avalanche is still a dangerous pebble because the avalanche is following after. If you allow them to take out little people like us, eventually they're going to go after everybody else that matters. And they already are.
Right.
Yeah, people need to be aware of what's going on in their mind. They need to think about the information they're being given. They need to question it. Basic epistemology, study it, learn it. Otherwise, it's just a shame seeing, we're in 2021 and the culture is behaving more like something out of the turn of the century.
Oh, I've always encouraged, like when I do political speak or when I talk about politics, for example, or things that are in the news, I never take it from one source. If I hear it on CNN, I watch it on Fox too. I get both ends of the political spectrum from both channels, and then I form my own opinion on it. I never take one or the other at face value. And I always encourage that of anybody is before you give a knee-jerk reaction to something you see, check the opposite end of the aisle and find.
And I think what makes it worse now is people aren't even watching it on either news source. They're getting it third hand from somebody on Facebook that posts their opinion about it, and they're automatically pissed off about it.
Exactly.
Even though they have no idea any of the facts of the matter, they are immediately upset because somebody shared an opinion on it on Facebook or on social media, on fucking TikTok, ding dong, shitbag, whatever the fuck it is. Fucking MySpace. I don't even know.
Well, to give you an example,
but they see it on social media and they don't even have to research it at that point. They don't have to go find the actual article because they had somebody already tell them what they're supposed to be upset about.
Well, that's why I
a big part of the problem there.
You're absolutely right. And if I take a source of something from somebody who's third hand, I always recommend, when I do it, I always recommend people who post the sources for their material. People like, you may not like them, Steven Crowder, Louder with Crowder. When he puts on his jargon, of course, he's an entertainer, he's a comedian, he's gonna amp it up to 11. But the one thing I give Steven Crowder is he always posts the sources of his material. So that way you can go research it yourself exactly where he got it from.
Right.
You know, and I encourage that. Even if you're listening to somebody who's on the left or on the right, whatever your preference is, look for the people who give you the sources they are quoting. So that way you can see it for yourself and form your own opinion. I highly recommend that. Not just in politics, in anything, especially nowadays.
Word.
But I think we've had enough of cancel culture. And unfortunately, Kolin was having a lot of issues with his computer, so I think we're going to miss out on the.
I think his computer's been canceled.
It may have been canceled.
And the reason is we were making fun of Little Johnson.
Some Little Johnson
people got upset, and he's been canceled.
He will,
because there are a group of men out there that have little Johnsons and they can't handle anybody making fun of them.
that's it. They're just jealous because their little Johnson can't become a golden cock.
I was gonna whip the golden cock out again, but I was waiting for the right opportunity, because this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Life's Facebook page, facebook.com/thelife1069, Scotty Mays and Autumn Hatcher, a rematch for a second golden cock.
Nice.
Colin's still trying. I gotta admit, Colin, his computer might suck, but that man has the determination.
Oh yeah, if I can't give Colin anything else, he's always down to try.
Yeah, he keeps coming back. Colin, did you make it?
Doesn't look like it. Wren, we will be hitting a Journal of the Jedi this week. And if we're going to hit the Journal of the Jedi, are we going to finally have the bout between Jedi versus Sith? Are we going to break it down and see which one's the real rulers of the Force?
Oh, I most certainly hope so. I have been looking forward to that immensely.
All right. Well, that'll be coming this week. And of course, guys, make sure you're checking out the Life Radio. And I feel so bad. We're ending the show as Colin shows up. Hi, Colin. Bye, Colin. No. I'll tell you what, I got to take a leak anyway.
If Colin has at least one positive thing after dealing with his computer issue this whole time, then
well, that's what I was going to say. I got to take a leak anyway. So I'll balance the microphone and I will give Colin the floor as long as his shit's working. Let him get it out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check.
Hey, we can hear you.
You can hear me. Holy crap. This computer has been such a pain in my neck. I really got to get a new one. I'm just holding out for that damn stimulus to show up so that Uncle Sam pays for it. How you guys been?
We've been good.
All right. I'm sorry I've been having so much trouble with all this stuff. It's just been a lot. I've been dealing with a lot of restaurant stuff lately, the business and everything. So shoot, and all my stuff I had to open on the other computer and I shut it down because it wouldn't work. Let's see, I might be able to look up what I had on similar things here on this computer now. Hopefully, as long as it keeps running right and it gives me a short time span and then it starts acting weird. So bear with me.
You had a couple minutes earlier and it just kept, by the time you got there, it was just going.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Let's see, now where is that? My positive pages that I always go to for the best positive influence I can get.
Oh, you need some positivity.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I can say is positive is that tonight I'm doing the rest of the grout on my tile, and then I'll be freed up to do more stuff with you guys and things like that here soon.
Very nice.
Yeah, so that's one good thing I'm happy about. I did see something about an article, I'm not sure how long it's going to take to load, about some kind of a restaurant or someplace that was feeding 500 people during the power outages. Which
nice.
Which is kind of cool. I mean, kudos to them, whoever they are. If I could bring up the article, we'll find out. But yeah, that's going good. The economy is going good back here in Michigan. The restaurants are back open, so our family's business is back open, and then all the other restaurants all around are open again, but only 25% capacity for a little while. So yeah, Michigan is trying to be reopened again, and just keep my fingers crossed on it.
Yeah, here in Ohio, they recently lifted the curfew. We had a 10 p.m. curfew for restaurants and bars, and they finally lifted that. So,
right. Yeah, that we're still on a curfew for a little while. Yeah, so that kind of sucks because the bars can only be open till like 10:30, and so I'm in Dart League, right? So that's hard for you to hurry up, and we normally start at 7:30, but now we're stuck starting a little bit earlier, so we can try to get at least started by 7, and get out of there by 10:30. But at least we're playing again, and everybody, of course, walks in. They got their masks on, and then we sit in our spots and whatever, and I mean, we pretty much keep ourselves in the corner when we're playing darts anyway, so that it's less of a risk at least. And nobody coughs on us. Or at least we try not to let them. Let's see, what do we got here? Okay, it finally loaded some stuff. What the hell is that? See, stranger shelter stranded delivery driver for 5 days during Texas cold snap. Now she's part of the family. Huh. Well, that's kind of interesting.
I think I saw something about that.
Yeah, it's like people sometimes really go out of their way when there's trying times and there's power outages or potato famines or different things going on, and it depends on the community, or I guess depends on people that are around. Some people give a shit and some people don't. Let's see. What does it say here? February 21st. Chelsea Timmons decided to make her last delivery because the roads in Austin, Texas were getting slicker. When she ended up getting stuck in the customer's driveway, there turned out to be a big silver lining. Not wanting to walk up to the driveway, the grocery employee tried to make it up the steep slope with her car, but slid helplessly into the garden. The couple tried to help her move her car. Efforts failed. AAA road service was already unattainable and undated with calls. Huh. Wow. So
You know what?
stranded.
My heart bleeds for Austin, Texas right now. Texas in general, because they're not equipped for that weather. They really
not
aren't.
at all.
That's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of like, I don't know, us trying to fucking travel through Siberia, Russia for them, because they're just not made for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So my heart bleeds for those people right now, and hopefully the weather conditions like straighten out for them. It really does,
Right.
And of course, people that are
Totally.
suffering with inability to handle this weather situation, and all you hear on the news is using it as political gain. That bothers me the
Yeah.
most. Instead of worrying about pointing out, well, this is climate change, or well, this is proof that wind turbines don't work, or whatever. Instead of pointing all that shit out, why don't we worry about how do we help these people?
Right.
Right. Yeah. Like, what kind of a positive can we pull out of a negative? I mean, sure, there's power outages and people are stranded here and there, but if people pull together, that's how the human race is supposed to work.
Yep.
From the time we're born, human beings are one of the few animals that, yeah, we were granted this great gift of intelligence and being the dominant species on our planet. But at the same time, that comes with a trade-off, because our young are the most weak and helpless of all. And we need that human interaction from the time we're born. And they say, like, if you're on a desert island someplace, you'll go nuts if you don't have a companion. I mean, just look at Wilson there with what's his name?
Tom Hanks, yeah.
In that movie.
Yeah, but to be fair,
prime example.
Yeah, but it also proves something else, that our intelligence is a non-factor as far as why we're the dominant species on the planet or whatever else. The only thing that makes us different from the rest of the animals is this: the opposing thumb. If we didn't have this, our intelligence wouldn't mean shit. But you are right. Our compassion and our ability to care really separates us from everybody else. I would say even more than intelligence. You could be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet and still care about other human beings.
That's true. Very true. But it is interesting that how the human race is so dominant and we understand so much more than the other creatures on the planet. But yet when we're born, we're like, wah, 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 and we can't take care of ourselves at all. Or some like deer and horses, they're born and like within a minute or two, they're up on their feet, they're walking around, all kinds of shit. And it's like, how does that happen? How is nature that awesome?
I disagree with you about our intelligence. I think dogs are the most intelligent animals on the planet, or creatures on the planet, and I'll explain why. They're smart enough to realize that they can't eat it or fuck it. They just kick grass over it and walk away. They're a hell of a lot
Well,
smarter than the rest of us.
well, yeah, it's like the daddy dog and the puppy dog are walking down the alley, and the puppy dog asks, "Well, why do we sniff everything before we pee on it?" And the daddy dog says, "Well, if you can't fuck it or eat it, then piss on it."
There you go. Yeah.
And yeah, actually, there's been points when I lived that is kind of a motto of my life, but 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 the drink it was in there too, and then I don't drink, so everything changed. Um, but yeah, this is a pretty amazing thing though. Apparently, down here in Texas, these people helped this woman out, this delivery person, and she slept in the spare bedroom for 5 days, became friends with the dog, and realized how lucky she was overall. Found out my apartment lost water, lost power, so being stuck here actually turned out to be a better situation. Most of my family lost electricity for several days. I definitely ate a lot better here, she exclaimed. They made me feel comfortable and made me feel like a part of the family.
That's cool. That's cool. You know, plain and simple. That's just cool. And I wish
Right.
more people would do. You know what I'm reminded of? It's kind of a positivity. Remember when that hurricane, I think it was Katrina, hit Louisiana and New Orleans and all that, and it flooded the shit out of the city. Like the city was just destroyed.
Right.
Right.
And America put aside everything to help these people out, give them shelter, give them food, give them, you know, clean water and stuff like that. It was it was a very proud moment how we respond, not FEMA, we as Americans responded. So
Right.
I'm very happy to hear that they're doing that for Austin too, even if it's just one person.
Yeah. Yeah. And any of our listeners who are out in the Texas area, you know, our heart goes out to you. And there's a lot of crap going on for you people out there right now.
Absolutely. Hopefully you guys get back on your feet soon. And then we can continue to curse your fucking names because you get 70-degree weather in fucking December.
Well, well, I was gonna rip on the Cowboys, but
You don't have to rip on the Cowboys. Their seasons do it for them.
right. Of course, what do I say? I mean, I don't really watch football, but I live in Michigan, and let's face it, the Detroit Lions ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, it's been a little while for them, I think.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
my football team may have won Super Bowl in the last decade, but
Yeah.
it's the only one we got.
Right.
No, they
Well,
made it to another one. They made it to 2, I think.
We made it to 3 of them total, and we did have
Okay.
a championship before it was a Super Bowl. But as far as the Super Bowl ring is concerned, we've got 1.
Right.
I don't think the Lions have ever been to a Super Bowl.
And that was on
I
a
know.
backup quarterback that they got rid of afterward.
Don't start me on that. You know, they threw so much shit for Carson Wentz, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Wentz was kind of a little star in that season until he got hurt, but our Super Bowl was fucking Nick Foles, Big Dick Nick.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that they did not even so much as turn around and say, you know what, we'll trade Wentz and keep Nick, the guy who brought us to the dance and got us to dance. Like, I don't understand how. Okay,
I
Philly,
think Wren just headed out. So
yeah, she had to take off. But you know, as far as Big Dick, I don't understand how the city of Philadelphia can have a statue of Dr. J, can have a statue of Mike Schmidt, which great legends in Philadelphia sports, absolutely.
right, and
Can have a statue of fucking Rocky,
a fictional boxer.
can have a statue of Rocky. But the guy who finally gave the Super Bowl to the Eagles, the quarterback who should never have been, where the fuck is his statue? His thank you was get on the fucking bus, you're heading to Chicago. Come on.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I mean, but you got to admit at the Rocky thing, that's been very inspirational to a lot of athletes and a lot of people. Those movies helped a lot of people push their boundaries and their standards for what they do.
That was the point of Rocky. That's why
Right.
Philadelphia honored Rocky with that statue and everything else. It was because of the fact that even though he was a fictional character, he felt like an inspirational figure from Philadelphia. And that's why Philly has always honored Rocky.
Right.
Well, maybe they just don't want to give any respect to somebody who wears tights and shoulder pads. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we're talking about Nick Foles, not Hulk Hogan.
Right.
Oh, I thought we were talking about football players.
Yeah, but I mean, like there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's even to me, it's silly. In a city, and I grew up in this city, in a city of so many different legendary figureheads. Ben Franklin, the Liberty Bell, the birthplace of the Constitution and Independence Hall, and everything
Right.
else. Of course, even to me, it feels silly that there's a fictional boxer statue, in our parks and shit. But at the same time, I get the point. The point was that he is an inspiration. The story of Rocky was an inspiration.
Absolutely.
And Philly, for lack of a better term, Philly, besides being the city of brotherly love, Philly has always been kind of the underdog inspiration story in the city, especially when it comes to sports. I mean, look at the movie Invincible, all about Vince Papale. This was a guy who should never have been a football player, and he became one of the top football players in Philadelphia history. You know
Sorry,
what I mean?
Colin was cleaning his lens there. I felt like I was at the optometrist. Is it better here or is it better here? Is it better here?
You know
Damn
what?
it, Colin, just leave it on that one. I can see.
You know what? When I went to
Can
go,
you hear me now?
when I got these glasses, when I went to go get the eye exam, I had to wear the mask, obviously, like we were talking about because of COVID and everything. You know how fucking annoying that can you see better this way or this way is to begin with. Try it with a mask where you're fogging up the fucking lenses as they're
Oh, yeah.
flipping.
Oh, jeez. He's like, hold on, let me fix my mask. All right, now what letter you want me to look at again?
Yeah. You gotta hold your breath to look through the lens.
Yeah, you sneeze and fog up your lenses. Like, oh, I can't see shit. Hold on, was that booger? Yeah, hold on, let me wipe.
That's a tough world. It really is. But
Right.
no, overall, Philly has always been kind of an inspirational underdog city. And I think a lot of people realize that, ironically enough, through a fictional character who was set in the city of Philadelphia by a guy from California.
Right, but the storyline was good. He had a good plot to the story and everything, and it was very inspirational to people, and you got to respect that. At the same time, though, I can see where you're coming from. If somebody really was influential in helping them get to something like a championship or a Super Bowl or something like that, and making strides in their sport and from that city, well, yeah, I'd say, put a plaque up for him somewhere or something.
Right.
For sure.
Maybe that's where Nick Foles went wrong, is he actually won, because the story of Rocky is he didn't win, he just went the distance. So they like their football players to take them all the way up to the Super Bowl and then lose. So Nick Foles fucked it up for him. That's why he had to go.
Right.
Look, everywhere he went, just like with Andy Reid. I was
sorry.
I was the supporter
Andy
of
Dick.
I was a
Andy
supporter.
Dick.
I was supporter of Andy Reid when he was fired from the Eagles and he went over to Kansas City. Not that I care about.
I was glad that he was gone.
I was a fan. I felt Philly did him wrong. The guy was dealing with the death of his son and everything else. They should have let him take time off to grieve his son.
Well, yeah, that I can agree with.
Instead, they fucking kicked his ass to the curb, and I don't even remember the idiot we wound up with on top, after Andy. Nick is the same thing. Nick was, our saving grace in Philadelphia, and the first thing they decided to do is trade him off for garbage. Of course, I'm going to support any team, unless it's the Cowboys, of course. I will support any team Nick Foles is on because I want to see Nick turn around and shove it in Jeffrey Lurie and Jeff Rosenbaum's face of like, this is what you could have had. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Philly's always been famous for that. I remember back in the day when we had Jim McMahon as a backup quarterback and we would trade him off. We had what was it? The Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, and I love Garcia because he came in. McNabb had a habit. If he was looking like he was going to have a losing season, he would get hurt and be out for the season. It happened like 3 years in a row. And Garcia jumped in and took them all the way up to the championships. Didn't get to the Super Bowl, but got all the way up to the NFC championships, and I love that. And then the next season, he's gone too.
Well, that's my point. Is Philly's always had a habit of pulling in, like just in quarterback alone, pulling in these great quarterbacks and then getting rid of them and keeping people like Coy Detmer. Really? Coy can't even tie his own shoes. You expect him to at least be a backup?
McNabb was a good quarterback sometimes.
He was good.
He would have like a fucking record-breaking game, and then for 3 weeks he wouldn't be able to complete a pass to anybody on his own team.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, he sorry, I'm a Philadelphia fan too, but yeah, Donovan McNabb, once he got to the point where he was older and he couldn't move around, because that's what he was. He was not a pocket quarterback. He wanted the mobility, and once he got older and he couldn't do that, he didn't know how to stand still and throw a fucking pass.
But again, living proof, you're talking about McNabb, living proof of the Eagles and their stupidity. The first time we had Nick Foles, and he had that breakout. Yeah, we didn't get to a championship, but he had a breakout season, with how many touchdowns without an interception and everything. Like, he was breaking records, and we decided, let's get rid of him and get that idiot from the Rams who's in his 40s and can't throw shit. He never did shit for the Rams, can't throw shit. We got this fucking breakout quarterback. Let's trade him off and get this guy. Really?
Makes sense.
It's probably a budget thing.
Yeah.
It is a budget thing, but it's also just, do you really want to bring a championship to the city?
Yeah, I guess. Depends how bad you want it.
You know why? Why the pay? It's not Tom Brady. Sorry to break your heart, people. He's not the GOAT. It's not Tom Brady that brought championship after championship after championship to the Patriots during their run in dynasty. It wasn't Tom Brady. It was the talent you put around Tom Brady. You spent the money for a championship team. And as much as I'm getting bile in the back of my throat even saying it, I've got to give that respect. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you've got to put the money out for the talent.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, a lot of teams that got big budgets, they just, buy all these players, pay them all kinds of bucks, which isn't exactly fair that they get paid so much. But what would you rather have, them making the money and maybe donating it to some people and helping somebody else out, or just having the franchise owners keeping it all?
Oh, I'm not making an argument about, professional sports athletes being overpaid. I think the payments that a quarterback for some fucking football team should be going to some fucking private fighting a war, because they're earning the money a hell of a lot better than some idiot with a football. But as far as a business standpoint is concerned, if you want your franchise to win championships and become more valuable, it's a basic rule of life. You got to spend money to make money. If you're not going to spend it, you're not going to get it.
All right. Well, we got Colin's corner, and we ended up back on the after hours.
No, we did.
Or Sports Central.
We just added a new segment.
Right.
Let's bitch about sports. And fictitious statues. But yeah, we got to end out. I got to go get my girl anyway. So, Colin, we already gave our outros. Why don't you go ahead and give yours while your computer's
guys. While my computer's working, right. Well, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube. You can get a hold of me through Google. Just holler at me through my email. It's colinwashburn@gmail.com. Send me a message if you got something positive to say. If you want to holler at Stolle or Serenity or Don or anybody else, well, you can get a hold of them through their own means, or you can holler at me and I'll give them a message. Keep it positive.
Yeah, please. Especially after I've released that Common Grounds. Keep it positive. No, real quickly, what I definitely want to give a shout out to Serenity. She was feeling under the weather today and couldn't make it. So we hope she feels better soon and makes it for next week. But until then, guys, thank you for hanging out with us on Breaking the Fourth Wall Weekly. And we will catch you on the next one next week. Later.